pick and the first ban, and you can see it is going to be Maokai and Zilean being banned out. Zilean obviously targeted towards Alexic.
And that's a strange one. That's not really something Moscow 5 has ran to much success lately. Every time they played Zilean, I actually see, as we, might chat a little bit.
Of French chat.
But yeah, Zilean, Lee Sin, ban, as you had predicted, you thought there's no way they're going to let Diamond procs onto it. That is a correct assumption. And, Blitzcrank and Maokai, we know when they lost the game. I mean, M5 going back to the group stage, they do not play well against Maokai. So that they lost to, it was Shushe's team, I think, I Want Cookie in like 23 minutes or something on the back of a lot of just really powerful Maokai ganks. So I can see those bans coming through thus far.
So Lee Sin obviously targeted at Diamond procs. Nunu being banned out. They don't want to see that Cogmore Nunu or basically anything Nunu. The Blood Boil is so strong. And they're just going to wait for the final ban, Katarina, so they don't want Alexic going on tilt. And really that kind of helped as well, because I think Tabs ended up 9-1-6 in the last game on Katarina.
That's true, and it was a matter of just snowballing a game. Katarina, one of the best snowballing champions in the game. Ocelot started roaming on Anivia, and then Katarina just completely wiped through. I think we're going to see a lot more Katarina bans as this tournament progresses, because she's kind of busted right now. And then you see Orianna, and that's something Alex hasn't played that much of, but he's had a lot of time. They boot camp before this tournament. That could be something he's practiced pretty heavily, because when you first pick it like that, that shows a lot of confidence.
That does show a lot of confidence. Alexic, there's not many EU mids that are much better than Alexic, let's put it that way.
Definitely not.
Extinct definitely can take him a run for the money, so I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve to counter that. The question is, what are they going to go with? Are they going to go with the AD and support to start with? Generally a pretty favored pick. Are they going to go with a jungler? I'm not too sure. Hopefully Piri is going to close all his chat windows, because they should not be happening right now. And things will get underway. We're just waiting for the pick. What do you think
they're
going to go with?
They're taking their time on these too, and even the picks and bans weren't that quick. I think the Orianna pick might have thrown them for a bit of a loop. They might have thought they were going to be the ones to get Orianna, and they're hoping from something on Alex's side. Zyra would be an interesting one picked this early, and Xin Zhao
taking it away from Diamond procs, maybe.
They swapped that, and the Xin Zhao is definitely taking it away from Moscow 5, because they've played a lot of Xin in both jungle and top, and
it was actually,
that pick is good.
He went 9-0-6, I think, against Curse.EU. It's the game we didn't cast that happened due to Curse being DDoSed, obviously.
Yeah, they had to play it off stream.
They had to play it off stream. But in that game, Diamond procs went very strong. So they've basically took 2 champions away from Diamond procs now with the Lee Sin. I guess the Maokai is definitely against Maluno. It goes... Gosu Pepper trolling.
You can see everyone wants Mundo, because every time they go to Tarek, they're sad. And every time they're Mundo, they go happy again. He's going to swap it to a 3rd champion by the end of it, and no one's going to know what's happening. This crowd is ridiculous.
I don't think Gosu Pepper will play Tarek, though. I'd be surprised if he does lock it in. Yeah, Zyra would make more sense, because he plays that as support.
The Zyra would make the most sense. I mean, that or Sona, but against Lulu, if they want to do that, that's Vayne.
Zyra Vayne.
Or Genja. So this is
going to be probably an Ezreal Lulu.
This is kind of an interesting trend, because ever since the World Finals, and especially at MLG, we've been seeing a lot more Vayne, like just seemingly everywhere.
Everyone's back to playing it. There's nothing happened.
And Lulu, too.
Yeah.
Right? And we're seeing it just... That was an MLG tournament that only had one European team, and this is completely...
It's not going to be Timo, I can assure you of that.
No.
Actually, Extinct played AP Timo in the tournament.
He did.
He played it very well. But
yes,
against Orianna in the mid, but that was before DFG.
That was against Syndra in mid. Those are like the show matches for all the Fortes and everything.
Karma. This crowd is alive.
Oh, man. The ground started shaking when they chanted Timo, by the way. For those of you guys on stream.
And Diana would make more sense against Orianna.
Diana's something they played a lot of against Orianna. Boo's the logical picks. How dare you?
There is the Corki lock-in. So Corki and Lulu versus Zyra. And honestly, I mean, I always think when I see Genja playing Vayne, Rengar actually was allowed. This is the melee.
So the Rengar, maybe not the Mundo, but the Rengar, and it could be both, but the Rengar is something I definitely expect to see because Orianna Rengar is the synergy that Dignitas wanted to run and almost beat a Zulu Blaze with last weekend in MLG. So
It's
Moscow
what they
5,
wanted to do at Season 2 finals, isn't it? That was their tactic.
it was.
Until Bad Guy Riot banned out Rengar.
Ooh. But it was just the stealth Rengar hopping in with an Orianna ball is just the ultimate initiation in a lot of these cases. That would be a very solid pick for them. And then I actually don't know what they're going to go at their end. I'm so distracted by the crowd cheering and everything. I'm having trouble zeroing in and
So, I
analyzing
mean,
these picks.
what would the top laner be if it's against Rengar? I mean, there's Rengar locked in.
So I think it's going to be Rengar jungle, and they're going to pick a different top laner.
No.
But no.
No, that's it.
No,
Mundo
that's it.
jungle.
No.
I mean, Diamond used to play Mundo jungle.
He did. He was the first one to do Mundo jungle.
Yeah.
Actually, he did.
Shyvana,
I remember
and then
it was
Mundo.
during Kings of Europe. I think it was a game they lost pretty badly, and he went like 0-6. But it was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And then
Yeah.
from there, it just picked off
Everybody
and
played it,
exploded.
yeah.
The crowd goes off, and I just have to listen to it.
You just have to hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to happen. I mean, actually, we saw Fear playing it at Lone Star Clash last night. They did run Draven in that.
They
bottom
already
lane.
have the Corki. So
They
at this
do already
point,
have the Corki.
At this point, it's a top laner or a jungler. So whatever they want to go up against Rengar, technically M5 could still swap back and forth because Mundo does work top. I'd expect them to be picking up against a Rengar here.
It's not going to be a Vayne. It could be a Jax. Jax is Jax is locked in. And
Yep.
if you remember rightly, we saw Angus's Jax in the qualifiers, and it was very strong.
He's done a lot of work with Jax, and you have to say it's one of his best champions.
I'd
for
say
sure.
Angus is probably one of the most versatile top laners, you know, because he does play bruisers and he plays AP champions quite well.
And that's not something you see that often
No.
from top laners. They usually play either or, and if they play an AP champion, it's usually like, Vladimir, and
Yeah.
they just pick that one, and they do okay with
Or
it, it
Rumble or
seems.
something like that these
Yeah.
days, yeah. But, so they're the picks, Jatt, and they're interesting
Okay,
picks.
right.
And honestly, Moscow 5 have got a strong lineup there to me, but so do Curse.
So what Moscow 5 is going to do, obviously, is they're going to start fights with Rengar and Orianna, and the Rengar is going to be extremely strong since Darian's running him in top lane, and he'll get the extra farm. I think that comp is all about getting everyone really low. Zyra has a lot of upfront burst damage, and then hoping that Genji can clean up at the end. I know that's normally what you want to do with every composition, but it's very distinct with this one. They have tons of front-loaded damage, and then they have Vayne and Mundo to come in and finish off. You look at Curse, and they actually have the Xin jungle, so those early ganks are going to be really strong, and they're going to want to have to dive in really heavily. Diana, Jax, and Xin all diving in together is going to be really hard to do up against Zyra.
I think Piri, the support player, really wants us to look at Gosu Pepper.
I think we should check out
I think we should check out Gosu
Yes,
Pepper.
Master Runes and Master Ace. Our cameraman is, of course, Piri. So, Health Quintess. What? Okay. Health
So,
Quints,
He knew there was something up, I
AD
guess.
Reds, 15 armor as well. So he's thrown some armor blues in there, and he's got 8 magic resist. And then what are his masteries? 13, 17. So this is something we haven't seen in the past. This is just, he's gotten all the defensive masteries, armor, magic resist, as well as tough skin. So that's a lot of trading. The creeps won't be doing much to him. And then he made sure to get the experience mastery in the utility tree. So that's just going to be trying to hit 6 first and then go all in because Zyra 6 is very, very strong. And let's check out the support on the other side.
I mean, he's obviously opted to take a
He's
lot
like
of
a
cliff
super
lances there. He's expecting a lot of hits from both Corki and Lulu.
Well, it's surprising that he didn't bring kind of any health regen and went for flat AD because that means he's looking to go very aggressive. Whereas
Yeah.
Lulu with gold per 10 is immediately at a disadvantage because she doesn't have the health sequence, and she's brought armor and instead of kind of flat AD. So the flat AD, Zyra's support has one of the best attack frames in the game. Like, attacks very smooth. We're kind of hoping to get below 70% health, but I think that's going to happen fairly frequently against the Zyra lane, and then just specs the utility tree far up enough to get all of the gold masteries. So both supports going with the gold. They're going to start with 515 and no top. We've seen a lot of Rengar jungle. I expect this to be a standard rune page, but we could be surprised. So there we go, 25 armor pen. You normally see AD on these guys. So this is really we'll have to pay attention to this when he goes and builds, because if he goes with something like a Brutalizer, he's going to try to hit for a bunch of true damage. That could also be with Rengar just spamming his Qs back and forth would get that. And then 921 for his Masteries. Getting the Magic Pen makes a bit of sense in cooldown reduction, because the W for him when he can stack them up is both magic damage. Yeah, no, the Bola is a snare. The W is this kind of battle roar thing that does the heal, but you can double that up and it's both magic damage. And then 21 in defense. So defensive Rengar set up for Masteries, but 25 Armor Pen is going to be something to watch. Because let's go back, we got 25 seconds. Let's check out the other top laner and see how much armor he's going to end. So Anguish up top on Jax. We got to see his runes real fast to see if the Armor Pen's going to hurt him. So he's just got the 13 flat armor, which is pretty standard, and then he's got health regen as well. But that's not going to be that great against a sustained, like, manaless top laner. He'll be able to poke back and forth, a lot of harass, and then 921 as well, but just with the Armor Pen instead of Magic Pen on his Masteries. And you can see those bottom four in the defense tree are different almost every time.
So, going to be an interesting game one here. It is going to be Moscow 5 versus Curse.EU. There you go. You can see they've got their banners in the front again, the M5 and the little Curse flame. So, as we load into the game, I'd be surprised to see any skins on Genja, because he never buys a skin.
No.
Scumbag Genja.
He just doesn't like... I mean, there's no way he doesn't have the RP. He must just spend it all on champions. Or the IP, because he plays all the time. They get RP rewards from a lot of tournaments.
Yeah.
So he just... I mean, he likes the core look of the champions, maybe.
We have Corporate Mundo as well, which is always a great champion. So, who are you favoring here in terms of team comps?
So I actually like Moscow 5's team comp just because of the Orianna-Rengar synergy, and because I think their bottom lane's skilled enough to get farm on Vayne. But if Curse can kind of get going, actually I like Moscow 5's almost across the board, because even if Curse gets going, the triple dive, and we've seen how hard it is to dive a Zyra, looks like it's going to be trouble.
So immediately, I mean, this is, I think, Curse.EU's bottom lane's first tournament offline. I'm not sure. I don't think they were at Paris Games Week. In fact, they weren't. I didn't see them in their brackets. So I think this is actually... So the Super Az and Creaton,
their new bot lane.
New bot lane. This is, I think, their first major tournament. And they're up against Moscow 5 right here on stage in front of a very loud crowd that actually favors Moscow 5.
Yeah, and that's going to be very tough. A lot of these new guys, as we can see, spoilers, the pause isn't going to last for too long. And awesome, we're right back into the game. It's going to be tough for them to stay in this. They're not as the crowd gets pumped up, they're not as emotional of a team as SK. Not even close, but it's going to be really, really telling early on how that Corki lane does, because if Genja and Gosu Pepper get going, I don't think there's going to be coming back in that bottom lane.
So if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, this is game one, Moscow 5 versus Curse. You can see it on your screen. Blue team, Moscow 5. Red team is Curse. And Alex would have got a peek there, I think. Put the ball straight across Curse. Not going to go for any invade, just putting the ward down, defensive stuff. And in terms of level 1 fights, it looks like Curse definitely want to force something here. And
it is so hard to invade against an Orianna. We could see that Alex just threw the ball. It's this kind of unkillable ward, and they get to see them cross the map back and forth. They know exactly where all 5 of them are. You see Moscow 5 very defensive formation, and Curse very much wanting to go in, but they're not. I don't think they're going to risk it, because 5-man invading when they have full view of you is really dangerous for turning things around. So they actually just put 2 wards down. They're quite worried about Diamond's ganks, and those aren't even the best wards because they're kind of shallow wards. They don't see deep into the jungle, so they won't track him that well. They're really only going to track him if he goes for a lane gank, which, since they know where the wards are, he's probably not going to let himself get seen by them.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen from anyone that's played Moscow 5, especially Dignitas at the C-Bit, everyone learned from that game. You have to ward early against Moscow 5. You cannot let them run through.
And Diamond Prox's Mundo is going to be pretty scary, but with those 2 wards, look for lane ganks top or bottom if he wants to gank early, or he's just going to farm it out, because they've had to waste, they wasted the extra ward, and I don't know if they're going to get much from it.
So, Zin's out. There's Maluno. He's going to be picking up the Wolves, going down to blue buff, sorry. And Angus taking all of the wraiths. So they're going to be respawned before he gets back up there. He's going to go back around towards Golems and then Red Buff, I guess. We see Red Buff was picked up as well by Diamond Prox, so Diamond Prox heading straight over. They've cleaned all the farm out, so Golems were taken by the bottom lane of Genja and Gosu Pepper.
So this is going to be interesting, because that means Genja Gosu Pepper hit level 2 early, which might give him an edge in that lane. But since Anguish took the Wraiths, level 2 Jax, if we look up top lane, is going to be pretty big.
Did you notice that? Gosu Pepper, so he knew Genja was not going to be able to get both of them, and actually took the CS.
That's a smart move. A lot of these, as you see, Anguish gets level 2 and trades early. A lot of these supports, it's actually best to give them some gold early, because if they get their GP10 at them first, they're just going to scale throughout the game. It's so important to actually give them some early minion kills. I actually expect some teams to do that more than just the one. But, you know, even the one is fine. It's more than okay to share minions with your support early on.
You see it a lot with Mad Life as well. He tends to do that as well. He tends to get a lot of farm. In fact, we've seen Mad Life, and even, who was it? Lust Boy at the weekend. He was actually taking some
30
actual
or 40
major
minions,
items. He was
yeah.
having Frozen Mallet. He was having
Frozen Mallet, Stinger, Lulu, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, some strong stuff. There's a lot of exchanges down in that bottom lane at the moment, actually. So you can see Creaton's taking a bit of damage. So Gosu, Pepper, and Genja getting aggressive early on. Something I would not expect, but like you mentioned, they hit level 2 early, so they're going aggressive.
And Maluno's up here for Darien. If at the very least he's going to burn Flash, they might get a kill.
There is Flash, burn straight out. He might be able to get the knock-up. Yes, he does. The Ignite goes down. They're going to get a fill. It will be first blood, and it went to Anguish, and that is going to put a tilt on that lane straight away. And we've just seen actually Mundo going back and picking up the Dawn's shield.
Common buy actually for Mundo. We saw a lot of low balls in the World Finals when he played that champion. Oh, look at the poke.
I mean, that's just the pure poke of Lulu. Actually,
Genja didn't get a single hit.
Doing a single hit. That was all Gosu Pepper putting the damage down, getting that root down, putting the pressure straight on there. So it seems to be working out. Gosu Pepper being the aggressor.
It's a bit of a desync in this lane because Zyre is so good at poking and harassing, and Vayne is really not that good at it until he gets some levels under his belt, or her belt. So, you know, Gosu Pepper's going to have to do his best job of zoning, but in all honesty, Genja wasted about 200 of his own health trying to help with that harass.
And that top lane, that could be a problem. And the fact that Jax has got First Blood, the fact that he has got that bigger CS advantage now, Darian's going to try and farm out this as best he can. He's having to use his abilities. Anguish, you know, when you get Jax going on a tilt, it's a dangerous thing.
Luckily for Darien, that lane pushed the turret, so he's going to be able to sneak some of that XP back. Anguish still has to go back to base, so he's going to probably be able to recover. He's very aware of the situation, though. You can see he actually got that red elixir right away on Rengar because he knows if Jax continues to kill him or gets any kind of edge, he's going to push it really hard. He's trying his best to not let that happen in that lane. But it's tough because you're going up against Ninja Tabi, Doran's Blade, and all you have is a red elixir, so very, very cautious in that lane. And the biggest thing they have to worry about is getting counter-ganked if he does try to help him. I almost expect actually Diamond Proc to not help that lane at all and go elsewhere.
And here comes Diamond. He's going to walk straight across the ward. The root didn't land, so he manages to just throw his briefcase at Super Az, and Super Az backs off. Mid lane, actually, Rihanna going very aggressive, so Alex Inch is pushing up right on the lane. You can see that Jin Zhao coming around the side, so Maluna's going to be there in a moment. Here he comes.
Bottom lane.
Well, the bottom lane is a fight. They're going to go to bottom lane. They're flashed away. Let's go back to mid lane because it's going to be Xin Zhao diving on towards Alex Inch. He's put his ball down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He should just be able to stroll away from that one with the health pot. So very close exchanges on all the lanes at the moment. Farm very much even in that bottom lane. But on the top here, you can see Darien and Anguish having a bit of an exchange, and Anguish is definitely going to come out on top, like you mentioned. He got that Doran display and the boots early on and gave him a bit of an advantage in that lane.
And Darien had to pop his red elixir, already down to 250 health. He's going back to base again, but this time he's not so lucky because Anguish can hold this lane right in that spot until they get him off of there. So that shove up there really going to put the heat on Darien because that means he needs to find a way to shove that. Otherwise, he's going to get denied experience. Once Anguish gets 6 on him, it's going to be even harder. So the rest of the game is going pretty well for Moscow 5 because you can see the total goal is only at 300, but that top lane could very well snowball in the wrong direction if they're not careful.
Yeah, it's a dangerous, dangerous thing to let Jax get fed. Bottom lane being held off here by Gosu Pepper, so Gosu Pepper continuing to pick up some of that farm, keeping the wave just away from the tower. I'm missing the CS actually there, sorry. As, yeah, it's just keeping it back, and obviously this is an advantage, and this is something that I think we're going to start to see more of. You know, the supports have suddenly realized, actually, you know, it's not such a great idea to completely starve them of gold. Here's Anguish up top there. Diamond Prox comes in. They put the Ignite down on Anguish there. Is it going to be enough? No, it isn't, because there's Maluna. Comes back to save the day. It was the Ignite, actually, sorry, on Diamond Prox. We also have Extinct coming up here. He could get a Crescent Slash on towards Darien. He may well go for it. He's going to go. He's going to get the Moonfall. Pulls him back. Darien's going to go down. He gets caught out once again. Darien with the Ignite running. Is he got enough? The health pot's running. He should survive. And he just walks away. Very, very tight play, though. And Curse, well, they're just putting more and more pressure on top of Darien.
And he's actually popped his second red elixir of the game already, so he's 500 gold in the hole in that lane, really trying to hold on up against Anguish, but that's so much trouble. And that gank, was kind of expected, and that's why Curse countered it, but it did serve its purpose. It got the lane off of Jax's turret, and it will allow Darien to farm once again. They did get away without the kill, so it was kind of okay.
So they just need to leave Genja to farm, Darien to farm. This is something he does, though. You know, he will be effectively rule Darien out the fight for now. So immediately we're looking towards possibly 4v5s, 4v4s. We're not going to see Genja in the, Ghost Darien in this game for a while. The question is, how will they deal with that? How do the rest four fight the other four? Assuming that Anguish is going to have to stay up that top lane to just keep Genja, Why do I always keep calling him Genja?
I don't know.
It's Rengar.
Why you calling him?
It's Darien. I don't know. He's not on Yorick. I guess I'm not used to it.
Him all the time. He's on a new champion, so clearly can't be Darien. But what's really interesting here is just all the wards that Moscow 5 is building, and a lot of times teams will just mass wards when they're winning to try to snowball it, but they're building wards to stall at this point. They really think they have the late game, I'd have to say. Just with the way they're playing this and the way they're kind of not really helping Darien that much, slash just trying to avoid the early Malunu ganks. Lanes, I mean, as I say that, they go aggressive in the bottom.
They do go aggressive. There's the Gosu Pepper ultimate, and Cryoton had to back away from that one with the Valkyrie. And that's actually going to leave more farm for Genja. Genja out-farming the Corki lane right now.
And this might be why they're comfortable. So they realize they're losing the other lane up top between Jax and Rengar, but they realize they're winning this one. And Darien, regardless of how he farms, will still be able to go invisible and get the Orianna ball wherever they want in team fights. So they feel they're okay with this, even despite the poor advantage in top.
So as it stands at the moment, looking across the bowl, you can see the gold advantage only so slightly in favor of Curse. It is still very close, but 63 to 45, and that top lane is really the only big difference. In the mid lane, still very even, just 5 CS between them. Bottom lane, just 5 CS between them. Supports, just 7 CS between them.
It's a lot for supports, in all honesty, and they did that just so, they're trying to get that GP10 early, and especially because he doesn't have any GP10 quints on Zyra, it's very important that he gets some CS so he can get that early generation item.
And as it stands, and in the junglers, I mean, we obviously saw the assist. Philo Stone was built quite early on. We're seeing an Oracle now on towards Diamond Prox, so we'll see whether Diamond Prox makes use of this one. We are seeing Alex H possibly going towards his own wraiths that have already just been taken away from him by Extinct. Maluno picks up their wraiths because they've just taken advantage of that one, and he's just clearing out the main wraiths. Are they going to go for a dragon here? They're definitely making a maneuvers for the bottom. There is no ward placement down the bottom here, Jatt.
And that is just a lot of aggression back and forth. If they go any deeper, Diamond Prox is going to pounce. Oh, they don't quite get the root.
They tried to land the root down, but it wasn't enough. The Valkyrie comes out, forced the flash. So Superaz had to force that flash. Extinct going aggressive on Alex Inch, but not really putting the damage down onto him just yet. And he quite easily fends that one off.
And what's interesting here is...
We're going to get Diamond Prox walking straight into Maluna here, passing straight by a ward. He's got an Oracle. He's just burnt it down. He does not want to die here. This would be deadly. And that's the shockwave going down, but it's not enough. Extinct already finishes him off, and that's an Oracle burn there by Moscow 5. He'd only just purchased it.
And the strangest thing there is I was going to wonder why Alex didn't have the blue buff. And then as Diamond Prox ran by, he had it on. He was wearing it as well, so they might have had a poor pass that I missed. Yes. On the spectator. They had a poor pass, and Mudo had stolen it, which contributed to that kill because with no blue buff, Extinct was able to push him back, which allowed them to kill Diamond Prox, and that's another big loss for them. They can't, it's okay to just lose top, but if you start losing the jungle, you really lose the rest of the map.
So as it is, Curse with the advantages, they're 2-0 up, and they're starting to pressure. But this bottom lane, Genja keeping up the farm, actually ahead in the farm right now, and he's going to continue on that path. So the bottom lane seems to be the saving grace right now, and that mid lane very much even, but of course that one kill for Extinct is going to give him the advantage. He's just been back, got himself the Sorcerer's Shoes and a Blasting Wand. That's going to give him a slight advantage over Alex Itch, and the question is what will they do with it? Diamond Prox now obviously down 400 gold effectively, hasn't got the money he could have invested into GP10, hasn't even got a GP10 item right now.
And you can see that they're down 900 gold just in the actual totals, but they're also down 900 gold in consumables because Darien built 2 Elixirs of Fortitude that are spent and gone, and they lost the Oracle, so they're actually down 2,000 gold. So it's actually a much larger lead than you'd think, which they need to really curb their aggression and really stall this out because Curse could really push the pressure on here.
So Diamond Prox not getting caught out this time. Let's go 5. Under pressure here, not for the first time against Curse. They've definitely been in this situation before. We are seeing Xin Zhao Maluna heading towards the top, but Jax has just been forced back. Wow, okay, Darian has immediately headed south. Are they going to try and push a dragon here? You can see Gosu Pepper coming around. They might try and force him a bit of damage on towards Koreaton.
Darian popped his ultimate, actually. I don't know why, but it's gone. So...
Oh, he stealthed past the ward. They knew the ward was there.
Right. But then he just showed himself in mid lane.
And then he just showed himself in the mid anyway.
Now they're down in ultimate if they want to force a dragon.
Okay, not too sure on that exchange.
Yeah.
Koreaton getting taken down very low. Having to Valkyrie away from this one. And again, Genja really forcing the exchange here. Gosu Pepper being the lead charge. They are heading towards dragon.
And they need something like this. They do have the Orianna ult. They might be able to pull a team fight. They do team fight extremely well just as a team. And it's a lot of the ways they pull themselves back in these games. They know Anguish is up top. He's running down too. They see him through wards. They need to kill this pretty fast if they want to take it, or they'll have to peel off because that's a lot of harass coming through.
Is it going to be enough? That's the question. Darian wants to get involved in this, and he's like, come on, we need to force a fight. But the problem is Alex is not in position. He's just coming around. You can see that Anguish coming down from the bottom now.
Now
so
Curse could Dragon.
Curse could definitely Dragon. They have all 5 members in there, and they're going to leash it out. And I tell you what, I'm not too sure Moscow 5 can get involved here, and they need to put a perfect shockwave on.
They need to get a very good fight. I mean, they see Koreaton is off on the side, but they could very easily get flanked here. Here comes the fight.
There goes Angus leaping in. Didn't manage to land anything. The Zyra ultimate will be enough. It bops 3 of them up there, but Extinct goes aggressive. Gosu Pepper might go down here. You can see the damage coming down. It's Darian that drops, as does Gosu Pepper, and it's a 2-for-0 exchange. Angus walks away from that one. Curse definitely in control now.
Unfortunate fight there for Moscow 5. You could tell that's not something they wanted. They wanted to get a 5v4 at Dragon. They weren't really prepared to fight the 5v5. Good Lulu ult there really saved them. Anguish being so aggressive allowed it to pay off. And really Moscow 5 has to start to turtle here because that's a lot of early pressure and advantages just starting to pile up for Curse.
So Curse now in the driving seat, clearing out the wards, clearing out the wraiths, clearing out the red. Maluno just clearing everything. Actually, it's Anguish that's clearing everything out, so Anguish is getting all that free farm. Look at the gold advantages now across the board. So mid lane, you can see 600 gold advantage. Junglers, big advantage there. The Philo Stone, of course, picked up, and you can discount another 400 gold off that. So it's actually nearly a 2,000 gold difference, I think,
right.
Or 1,500 at least. Looking towards the top lane, huge difference. Another 1,000 again. You can take 500 off that one, so that's a big, big difference.
4,300 to 2,600. That's absurdly a huge disadvantage, and especially against someone like Jax. It's like Jax does not give leads away.
Oh, and there's good Extinct gain, giving more poke onto him. He's so confident playing against Alex Ich right now. Definitely proving to be one of the stronger mids here in Europe. Obviously, Alex Ich gets all the praises, but Extinct, you can't take anything away from him. He has been up there for a long, long time, and finally maybe finding his chance to shine. 15 minutes gone, Jatt. Curse, obviously with the advantage. What do Moscow 5 have to start doing here?
Moscow 5 just has to regroup and maybe pull off at least one successful gank, but without Oracles, it's going to be so difficult. I think they'd have to try to do something bottom lane because they really... Genja is their last hope, and as they kind of poke around here, I'm so surprised at how well Curse is coming out because Moscow 5, legendarily strong in LAN events, and they boot camp for this one as well. So this is a serious event for them. And even in the pregame interviews, there was an Eclipsia player said he expects Curse to actually either play really tight or win this because they've been playing great coming into this, they've said.
They have been playing fantastically well, and the managers were excited really about how they've been playing because the fact that they've not been having that argument, they've changed out the bottom lane, things seem to be going so smoothly in team fights, so I guess something is working right for Curse. Is this their time to shine? Can they be the second team only to ever beat Moscow 5 offline?
Well, it'll be
Curse.EU and Type A Assassins.
And there would have to be Curse if they do it here.
Yeah, but they would be the third team. Yeah,
I mean, they'd have to be doing the best of 3 because Fnatic actually took a game off of Moscow 5 in the European regionals as well. But so, Moscow 5 isn't invulnerable or invincible in these one-game sets, but it's a matter of beating them multiple times in a row. Even then, we're getting ahead of ourselves. 2,500 gold advantage. Curse taking on the Dragon. Moscow 5 might try to peel this off, but it's very, very dangerous for them, and Curse ends up backing off.
They've called away. They've called away. Curse back off, as the Moscow 5. They've still got it leashed, I believe. But they are completely backing off here. Now, Deman Prox is going to try and catch out in the mid there, but nothing's going to happen from it. And the I don't know what you call them. The
plants?
Plants, I guess you could call them.
There's thorn spitters and then something else. They're all vine lashers and
they're all plants.
And thorn spitters.
They're all plants.
The vine lashers are the ones that slow.
Extinct, and whoa, he's going for it. He's managed to shockwave into the turret. He's going to get the kill. He's going to get away from this one. The turret hits are not going to be enough. Extinct goes 1 for 1.
Oh, look up top though. Darien, he's going for a dive, but Xin Zhao's coming in from the flank.
Xin Zhao is coming on down there, and Angus, you know, you can't dive a Jax on the turret, and that is going to be Darien. He might get the kill, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to lose out. Can he avoid Maluno? That's the question.
He's just going to fight him.
As he's just going to turn out, he might have the damage because he is a top lane at the end of the day. He can go aggressive. Darien has hit that stage. This is starting to become a scary thing. If Moscow 5 can start getting into it with that top lane, they've got to be very careful here.
I kind of wonder how that happened.
Are you watching the replay? Okay, you watch that replay.
No, I'm not even thinking about the replay. I'm just thinking of the items and the champions against each other, because he had dodge boots and 2 longswords on Rengar versus a Phage, Zeal, Ninja, Tabi, Jax, and they take the dragon off that too because Xin Zhao was top. That's exactly what they needed.
And that's the gold, just coming straight back in there. That's pulled them back into it. It's golden experience across the board. That is exactly, like you say, what they needed. If we can look at the items now, we can take it off the gold count. We can see exactly what they're going to be doing off that. As it's X, by the way, Piri, if you don't mind.
Take a look at the items. Awesome.
And
but
you can see, look, you can see Brutalizer. This is what you talked about. Darien trying to go for that Brutalizer. Athene's an early grass. Grail coming out against an Abyssal, and they're both gone Sorcerer's Boots. So they're actually pretty even in the mid lane. But the hill point advantage that Darien has got, Darien? Why am I getting my names wrong? Extinct has got. I don't know either.
The crowd's got you all messed up. This kind of French, you're just...
It's all
words.
French. It's all got wrong. Take us through the items, Jatt.
All right. Big thing here is Alex actually hit some of his benchmarks, and they're working on a quick Aegis of the Legion on Mundo as well. So Alex has got his Athene's on Holy Grail, meaning he should be able to farm this out, and he should be safe. Say that cautiously from Extinct. Might be able to hold this turret, but he keeps getting crushed on, and that's been a pretty bad lane for them. Top lane, it appears like they're out of the woods here with Brutalizer and a Giant's Belt. Extinct keeps taking the race away from Alex, and there's actually a gank coming up top with Mundo and Jax.
Mundo and Jax definitely onto him. If we spin up there, you can see Angus trying to get away. Oh, that slow miss there, I think. I'm not sure if Diamond Prox managed to catch that. That was the Bula from Darien. He tries to get rid of it, but they have enough to dive him. He's going to leap strike away. Darien wants to go for it, but the rest of the team are like, no, back off. So that mid lane, how have they managed to get 2 level difference? Is he just purely been stealing the race? Is it the 3-0 kills? That's a really big experience gap. Now Maluno's going to come around the backside on towards Alex Ish. Oh, and he backed away. Didn't really have the wave there, and I think he showed his hand a little too early. Yeah, Alex is already backing off.
They get the turret, though.
They do get the turret, and that is going to be the first turret of the game for Curse.EU.
So it's actually a top turret for Moscow 5 as well, so a pretty good trade. And it's really strange how Darien's been able to pull off as we see a fight in the bottom lane. It looks like they're just going to disengage. Yeah, and in the mid lane at least, it was mainly the Wraith steals, but more importantly, the kill they got on the Diamond Procs where they took out the Oracles just catapulted that mid lane pressure. And now really Extinct looking to just take that pressure elsewhere. Genja's in a lot of trouble.
He stole the red, he comes in, Crescent Strike comes through. Oh, the Moonfall, they all flashed away from it. They were so ready for that, and they realized how quick they've got to be as soon as the ult is in like that. Very quick reactions, but they could take the bottom turret. Not sure they got the minions wave to do that. They will have to back off. No, they're going to finish it. They're going to finish it. They're going to take that bottom turret. So while this is happening, they're continuing to put the pressure. Moscow 5 towards the mid turret. Can they get a trade back and forward? I don't think they will. And Jax is coming down from that top lane, so they have to back away from this one. But Darien, I feel, has managed to pull himself back into this game.
It seems like, and we're just kind of surprised us here, we're 21 minutes in, so this game's actually getting fairly late, fairly quickly. You see Genja has went the triple Doran's Blade build. He's going to get his Phantom Dancer fairly shortly, but it's really about Extinct right now. Sorcerer's Shoes, Abyssal Scepter, no magic resist really being built yet for Moscow 5. Extinct can crush them right now if he goes in at the right moments. He's going to try to dive onto Darien. Darien's pretty damn tanky himself, though. This is going to be a really tough dive. If Darien turns this around, it might be what they need to get even.
They don't have anyone joining them. Here he goes. He's going to take a bit of damage on towards the turret. Now he's going to pop his ulti. He's gone stealth. He's just going to run around a little bit. He's going to have the help. You can see immediately Diamond Prox pinging, running straight up there, but Darien avoids the damage. The turret's going to go, but he's managed to avoid the damage.
I mean, we're applauding the escape, but really, he just went invisible.
He's defending the turret. Yeah, I mean, he just used his ultimate, went invisible, but you got to use it at the right time.
He did time it, I guess.
Oh no, man. Diamond Prox has been caught out. He's not going to be able to survive this one. He flashes through, though. The Ignite is not enough, and Extinct burning them summoner spells out. And then meanwhile, down the bottom lane, you can see they're diving on towards Creaton again. Super Az has been caught out this time. I'm not sure if he's got the damage to avoid this one. The root didn't quite land. Actually, tried to go the... which one is that called? See, you're going to have to get his names. The Vine Lasher. That's the one.
Yeah. I like the plants.
Quick shot right now.
The
Just
slow
be like,
plant.
God, these guys, they don't know what they're on
The slow
about.
plant, the long plant.
Slow plant, the long plant. Okay, I can see that. I can see that catching on.
So, Trinity Force just gets completed by Anguish and a red elixir as well. He's going to try to snowball that advantage on Darien. They've taken now 3 outer turrets, so it's really time for them to start roaming around. The Dragon should be coming up shortly. They still are actually extending this advantage ever so slightly on Moscow 5. If they can actually win a team fight, they probably would be able to take it home at this point because sneakily enough, 23 minutes in, they're starting to hit some pretty big item thresholds. There is an Aegis of the Legion already onto Diamond, so you can really see with them losing early, they kind of went and made sure that they get the big items they want right away. Sunfire Cape is a good early item. They have the first ore. They just got the Phantom Dancer as well. Moscow 5 knows the urgency of the situation and will probably be ready if a fight comes.
So they seem to be grouping in the position. The Dragon will be due shortly, and they are all down that area of the map. Jax is making his way down, so Anguish is trying to get into position. Diamond Prox has just zipped back to buy once he picked up. He's got an Aegis of Legion, so that's going to help them out in the team fights. And he's picked up some pink wards, so they want to clear it out. And you can see now Alex Hitch now with that Athenes and the needlessly large rod, definitely going to be very strong. They're looking
They got
like
the Dragon timer.
they have the timer. Moscow 5 gathering up, ready and waiting for this one. The question is, can Curse get it quickly? Because there is no wards from Moscow 5 here. There you go.
We'll see that they have a pink ward there, which makes it more difficult, actually, for Rengar to hop in and start a fight. But if he pops his ultimate, look for Moscow 5 to go in during that stealth duration. They're actually looking to fight here, despite being down. They've done these kind of fights in the past, and they're very good at realizing when they're stronger in these situations. They might go for it here.
They thought about going for crits on there. Darien definitely wanted it. The classic see hero, kill hero of Moscow 5 may well pay dividends here. And look at that, they're leashing the Dragon with the plants. Not sure if they meant to do that, but it certainly is happening. And Anguish now taking the damage, trying to tank it up there. Lulu putting the shield on him, catching on Maluno. Who would they want to engage on here, Jatt?
They would want to engage on, I'd honestly say Super A's or Corki if they could, and they're going to hope that they dive through. But the Dragon's going down. They're going to go in right now.
They're going straight for it. Diamond Prox goes in. The smite was won, though, by Curse. They do manage to pin on towards Extinct now. They managed to get him away, but then Curse are turning this fight back around. Gosu Pepper goes down. Genja in all sorts of trouble. He's going to get a kill, though. Darien manages to turn the kill down. They still haven't managed to take them going. They do get one. Gosu Super Az is going to go down. Darien is going to get dropped. It's going to be a 3-for-3 exchange, I believe. They do finally get 3-for-2, sorry, yeah, and it's a triple kill for Maluno.
So all said and done, 4 members dead on Moscow 5. Diamond Prox the only one to get away with the sliver, and the Dragon onto Curse. So that's just another advantage one for them.
A 4-for-2.
4-for-2. We got the number in the end.
Yeah, we'll get there in the end, but a triple kill for the jungler. And honestly, I thought that was very well played by Extinct. He got in, did the damage, got condemned on the wall and flashed out, and then they just like, we've lost our target.
And he's been the one that kind of take over, because when he jumped in, he really took Alex almost out of the fight immediately, which just didn't allow them. They didn't get a good shockwave combo off at all, so he just got completely taken out of the fight, I suppose. Darien would have been able to take over that fight if they'd gotten the start of the fight, but they really got initiated on, when that's definitely not what they wanted when they picked that team comp. And you can see with that fight, double Trinity Force now, so really big item thresholds coming out for Curse here. Zonya's Hourglass as well as Abyssal Scepter is kind of the sweet spot for Diana. And they're going right in for this blue. Empire's got to be careful.
They're going to come around the corner. They're not ready for this one. They're diving straight on towards Alex. Alex still with Shockwave available. Didn't even get a chance to use it. Was stunned out of the fight there.
And with Genja bottom lane, they're going to force this Baron straight on. All 5 members, only 3 members of Moscow 5 can potentially harass this, and they might end up just giving it to him.
And they've got nothing they can do about this either. They have got Smite available. I don't know whether Diamond Prox is even going to be allowed to get near that, though.
He's going to get crushed back.
He's going to walk straight in. Oh, straight into Extinct. He gets stunned up, gets pulled away. Does manage to back away from this one, but they can't do a thing about it because Jax and Xin Zhao are just destroying that Baron. Baron's going to get picked up. There we go. Darien gets close, but he's not close enough. And well, Curse.EU really turning on the pressure. Could we have a shock here at Tails of the Lane? We've already had Eclipse here going into the final. Many wouldn't have predicted that one, but they were very strong in that semi-final. Will Curse do the same? Could they go 1-0 up here? It is not down and out for Moscow 5 just yet. It is a 7k difference, but that is a big lead.
I mean, you think about Moscow 5 and their expectations coming into this tournament. It was almost a second thought. It's like, oh, they're going to win that tournament because they're Moscow 5. But with this game and this early lead by Curse is in the driver's seat here, and they're diving onto the turret already. All the pressure for them.
Darion's, oh, he's going to have to try and avoid it. The Lulu ultimate, sorry, it's not going to be the Lulu ultimate. It's just about saved by the shield there. The big plant goes in from Gosu Pepper. The shockwave, they're going to, no, can he get away? He's going to try and turn it on towards Darian. He hasn't got the damage, so just about shut him down. Wow, they nearly had Darian there. He nearly turned that into something out of nothing.
That could have been huge for them, but with that is a bit of an overdrive. This shutdown gold is what Moscow 5 means. That's Baron down on one member, so 4 members of Curse. Still a lot of pressure, still a lot of power. Going to have to split around and push, but that just gives Genja even more time.
They've caught Anguish out in the jungle. They're trying to catch on to him. They can see the damage coming out from Genja. Is it going to be enough? They're going to switch their attention to Superaz. Superaz in trouble.
Oracles.
Superaz with an Oracle. Could condemn him on the wall. Yes, he does. He has to use the ultimate on himself. Anguish tries to jump on him. Anguish may be able to turn this on towards Genja. You can see Jin Zhao joining now. And now Alex is going to have to back away, but they got the kill. They got the Baron buff off Lulu. Not that that really happens too much, but they got the Oracle down. These are little things that they could keep picking up.
That is actually quite surprising that they ended up getting picked off like that. Very good timing for Moscow 5 to get aggressive, because normally after you lose a team fight and give up Baron, you just expect the other team, oh, full turtle, and sometimes you get a little lazy and wander around the map alone, and that's really what Curse did, and that's really what got capitalized on.
Yeah, they're collapsing in around Darian here. Darian's going to have to start making a move for it. Kraton trying to bait him into it. Anguish is closing in as well. If you pan the screen across, you can just see Anguish is going to try and get in there, but he's just about avoided it. Pop the ultimate, though. It's another ultimate used.
I think we're a little zoomed in on the screen right now. We might want to back that out a bit. Rengar looks larger than normal. Perfect. Full screen.
And you could also speed up a little because we're 2 seconds behind live. Just saying. Just press that plus sign. It's all good. Nothing's happening. Nobody will notice.
No, now you've called it out. I think they
now they will. Now they will now, yeah. Now that I've called it, yeah.
Guardian Angel, though. Really big purchase there for Curse. Anguish having that. Going to make it even more potent in team fights, because a lot of Moscow 5's damage, aside from Genja's cleanup, is in the burst and in the initiation. So getting those resistances makes it so much more harder for Moscow 5 to execute their strategy. You know, 5,000 is another one of these gold leads that's kind of stuck there for a little while, but the catch-up in that gold is actually really impressive. 8,900 for Darian versus 9,700 for Anguish. Considering how that lane started, it's actually really impressive.
It's really Maluna that's leading just because of that triple kill he picked up. They're going to try and collapse around Diamond Prox and Darian here. And Diamond Prox, well, he's in trouble. He's going to get dropped, and that is going to be another kill. The Zyra Ultimate's going to pop everyone up, but they have no damage to follow it up. Darian's going to get dropped there. Of course, they have that Baron buff still on 3 members of the team. They're going to take the inner turret down. They're going to continue through 30 minutes into the game. Curse.EU looking to try and take one of his inhibitor turrets. They're going to push into it. I don't think Moscow 5 can even do anything to defend this one.
Moscow 5's entire tank line is gone. They ended up tanking while the rest of their team was off just farming a lane. So really, Curse, even though they had some positioning mistakes earlier, Moscow 5 got caught out again, and it cost them the inhibitor.
It cost them an inhibitor indeed, and a lot of gold. So you can see 9k gold difference. They're going to move around. They could tank this turret up. They don't need that conga line of minions. Anguish is going to go in. They'll just shield him up, and they're just going to rip it down. And well, Moscow 5 desperately trying to react to this one. You can see them spreading out on the mini-map at the bottom right-hand corner. They're trying to pick up any advantage they can, get out there and get as much as possible. They realize that Curse are going to back off after that turret. But honestly, what can they do? The dragon is available, but I think it'd be a scary time to even go for that.
Yeah, and you can see Moscow 5 is almost trying to kick it into their endgame builds, but they're rushed. You can look at Genja. He's got a Phantom Dancer and a Chain Vest, so it's almost like he's going for a Guardian Angel on Vayne. But you can't do that before you build any damage whatsoever. You know, they have the Zeke's Herald. They're going to go for this Dragon. They're going to try to rush it down, but you can see Curse is well on their way. If Moscow 5 gets caught out in a fight here, they're going to lose the game right off this.
They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Here comes Angus, jumps straight on towards Genja. They try and pin him. Actually, Angus has gone so deep. Is it too deep? That's the question. Genja's going to get caught out. Shockwave pulls them all in. There's still the damage. They're trying to take Angus down, but the Lulu ultimate just puts everything down on him, and you can see them just ripping the team apart. Alexic going down to extinct there. There's going to be another kill for Maluna, taking down Gosu Pepper. Diamond Prox is going to get closed in on. They're trying to get the slow on towards him, but Angus is going to be able to leap straight through in a minute. He's going to have Counter-Strike available.
Oh, nice
dodge. His Duke's out of the way there because the Counter-Strike gets the stun down right in a bush, right on top of a ward. Diamond Prox goes down. It's the ace for Curse.EU. And That will be game one without question, and Curse.EU make their way through and they take Moscow 5 down 17-5 in game one.
And Moscow 5 is going to have to regroup off of this one because that was just kind of from start to finish a Curse game. Moscow 5 lost early, never found the window to get back in, and a very impressive victory there by Curse.
And the last time we saw Moscow 5 go down so heavily was actually tell a lie, it was against I1 Cookie.